This is not something that can be understood, not something that can be held onto, not something that can be grasped, not something that can be figured out. Whatever it is there to be figured out about this is already done, already finished, already resolved, already complete. So it's a wonderful, beautiful, fresh morning here in the streets of Vietnam. Maybe space or silence or the absence of thought. We can be uncomfortable with that. Or we can be comfortable with it. But this is not really about if we feel comfortable or if we feel uncomfortable. It's more like an awakening. Like once we first wake up, we're still groggy and tired, but then we really get up. We really wake up. We really arrive at our destination. So this destination, call it enlightenment, call it freedom from suffering, call it realization of non-duality, call it realization of thoughts that we believe in, thoughts that we get involved with being empty of truth. And it's done and it's finished. There's not much to think about. There's not much to figure out. There's nothing to think about. There's nothing to figure out. And how foolish can we be to try and figure out nothing? How foolish can we be to try to understand nothing? We might ask a question. We might say, what is nothing? But we shouldn't get too caught up. I'm always telling people what to do. I'm always saying should and shouldn't. I've gotten myself into a trap. I've gotten myself confused. I've gotten myself into a difficulty. I've gotten myself into a major problem. What am I going to do? How about doing nothing? How about answering questions with silence? How about questioning what is silence? What is reality? What is truth? What is real non-duality? What is real enlightenment? Share your answer, share your understanding, share your experience. Make an offering. I can't say that what I'm doing and what I'm talking about and how I'm living, like my teachings, I can't say that they're going to work for anybody else or even that they're going to apply to anyone else. All I can say is that this is what works for me. But, what is me? What is you? What is I? What are all these stories that we create? What are all these stories that we hold on to about the things that we look at, the things that we hear, the thoughts that we're not able to let go of? I think for me, this is an opportunity to get to know each other. But this is a way of getting to know each other that isn't about self or other. It's not about a thought. It's not about an idea. It's not about an understanding about this. And yet this is right here. This is fully alive. This is colorful. This so many sounds, so many feelings, so many temperatures, so many experiences. And yet, what can we hold on to? What is able to be held on to? Now, I'm not staying here. I'm not going to be staying in this country. I'm leaving this country today. So, one of the teachings here is that space and the things that exist in space inter-are. They're inseparable. The things that come up in the mind, and the mind as like that which things can come up into and disappear from, is inseparable. Things are inseparable from nothing. Matter is inseparable from space. So they cancel out. Letting go, sure. But it's not just about letting go of those bad things. When we think about letting go of something in particular, we're trying to get rid of that thing in particular. So it's not a kind of letting go, it's actually more we're holding on to it being different than the way that it is. The real letting go, the true letting go, is an allowing of yourself to look at yourself. Not making excuses for, well, I want to get rid of this, or I need to hold on to this, I need to keep this, and continuing to make all of these stories, right? Our thoughts are in a constant state of decay. The experience that we're having right now is in a constant state of decay. It's in a constant state of impermanence, and it actually arises from impermanence. So that what we want to let go of, what we might want to let go of, is already impermanent. So you see, there's a kind of confusion in that. Why are we trying to let go of something that is already not possible to hold on to? And look, I didn't like school. I never studied. I never did homework. It just didn't work out for me that way. So when I ask a question, I'm not really looking for an answer. Come on. I'm not looking for an answer. It's kind of an inviting of questioning instead of being so solidified, so stuck in these particular ideas that we say, well, this is a real idea, this is a real thought, etc. Good morning. Can I have cappuccino when you're free? No rush, no hurry. Cappuccino hot. Yeah. And it's, it can be very, very difficult, honestly. We just changed our connection, so let me know if the Wi-Fi is okay. Let me know if the connection's okay. Are we good? Are we live? Are we okay? Good. This can be really difficult to understand because it's not for quote unquote everyone, it's for anyone. It's not for people in particular. We're not trying to build something up here. I'm not trying to teach something in particular. But this is like a hole that we can fall into, a hole that's limitless, a hole that is like presently, spontaneously, totally beyond the usual way that we think about things, the usual way that we think about our lives. To release everything, to release anything. I do want to say thank you to Dream Tooth, practicing from Sadhguru, slowing down, learning how to expand, release, and relax. I appreciate your donation. It's not really about the money. It's not about getting a lot of followers. Not about this turning out the way that I want it to turn out. But to really be here, and to be here in this way that's actually beyond teacher and student, beyond any conceptual way of looking at it, beyond any conceptual way of understanding it. We can use the word God for that even, because once we get into this state of belief as a Christian or whatever, where we think that God is our idea of God, we've gotten into a wrong path. Once we start to think that reality is our ideas of reality, we've gotten into a wrong path because we've stopped looking, we've stopped investigating. The story is kind of ended, our life has kind of ended. We've put ourselves in just being dead, going along with the flow of how other people think about things, what seems to be true, what seems to be right. When we really can stop belief or pause belief, to stop compulsive thinking, to stop compulsive believing, and start to look at our direct experience, to be with our direct experience, that's where letting go takes place. As I said, letting go takes place naturally, right? Whatever it is that you want to let go of is already impermanent. So you don't have to try to let go of it. It's a little bit of reverse psychology here. You actually have to be willing to look at it the way that it is. And then in that, you will see its impermanence. You will see its changingness. You will see its fluidity. Right? So God doesn't exist in our thoughts about yesterday. God doesn't exist in our thoughts about future. God or truth or reality as it is free from concepts like time. A lot of people are stressed. They're worried about money. They're worried about tomorrow. They're worried about yesterday. They're holding on to all these kind of concepts and beliefs and ideas and stories. And so this is an opening, a space, an invitation to be free from beliefs, concepts, and stories. Put that on a picture and put it up on your wall, and then the next time you see that I'm live streaming, look at that picture and say, oh yeah, I remember what this is about. But even that is just like a signpost. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. We can try the cappuccino. They really know how to do it here at the Married Beans. Why are we so stressed out or so focused on being in control? Why are we so focused and worked up by other people believing us, other people seeing us, other people thinking about us, other people being convinced by what we're convinced about? We want other people to believe what we believe. Why? Why is that so important? There's a special importance, a sacred importance, a spiritual importance of not needing to believe anything, needing to believe all these different things and to follow along with all these contracts of promises and vows and commitments and expectations and desires that we have about the future or about the past. It's a heavy, heavy burden. It keeps us weighted down. It keeps us in the bog, in the mud of thinking, and it keeps us away from the light of God, or the light of truth, or the light of life as it actually is, not as it appears to be. And you don't need to take shrooms or psychedelics or to have like a big, weird out there experience to understand what's being said here. As Jim Newman would say, there's nobody to understand this. There's nobody here who can understand this. And that's a relief, to be nobody. To stop being so worried about the comments that people leave. To stop being so distracted, so self-important. I've got something to say. Relax. This isn't a place for you to say something. This is a place for you to listen. Me too. How deeply can we really be with that? How deeply can we really open to that? That this isn't a place for me to share my opinion. This isn't a place for me to share my beliefs. This is a place to listen. You have to start looking at your own mistakes and stop worrying about other people's mistakes. Most of us, we don't live in community. We're not in a position to be a teacher. There aren't people coming to us for advice. We're just kind of playing out the story that we have in our own minds in the environment. And that needs to stop. If you want to look at mistakes, look at your own mistakes. But what I recommend is that you emphasize to see the positive qualities of other people rather than the negative. And that in looking at your own mistakes, it's a way to inspire you to repent, to renounce, to reform, to live in a more skillful, kind, deep way. Me too, Giga. Yeah, a lot of people are in that situation. Many, many people are in that situation. Seems that way. And sometimes we're not really able to experience ourselves. So what's the answer to that? How do we deal with that? When there's a big thorn in our own eyes, but we don't see it, and we're looking at the faults of the others. That is what this live stream is kind of about. To look at yourself, to look at your mind, especially to look at your affliction or your suffering or your difficulty. Not to get stuck in what we think about other people. Ignore it. Learning how to ignore so that we can keep looking deeply. A wonderful, wonderful, wonderful gift. And so as we see the mind's ability to go to zoom into something and to hold on to something, release it, relax it, step back from it, widen out, and keep that practice of opening and listening deeply. Not to be in control. To put our desires down, to put our fears down, to put our complicated thinking down. You don't have to try to release it. Just relax. You don't have to try to relax. Just relax. You don't have to try to make the things in your mind be temporary. They are already temporary. We have this habit energy of zooming in and focusing in on something, right? So as much as you see yourself, notice yourself focusing in and zooming in on something, step back from that. That there is no I, that there is no soul, that there is no self, that there is no past, that there is no future, that there is no real story going on here, that this is indescribable, that nothing in this experience can be held on to. But we may find ourselves pretending that we know what's going on, finding ourselves pretending that we are in a character in a story, and then we're putting our flag up, we're waving our flag and saying, I am a character in a story. And so for those people, it seems to be that way, but those people aren't really there. It's kind of like they're in a realm of existence. They're in a realm of self-belief. They're in a realm of identity But this is a realm of illusion. We say, how can people buy into something like this? But you haven't asked any questions about it. You haven't looked into it for yourself. People buy into things, apparently, like this because they take a deep look. Their heart is in it, their body is in it, their mind is in it, their life is in it. This isn't a joke, this isn't a meme, this isn't a Discord screaming trolling game. This is a human being speaking live right now, looking right at you. Seems that way, right? So, as deeply as you can look at something, as wholeheartedly as you can show up for something, you can have something to say about that realistically, right? But otherwise, don't pretend that you're looking deeply if you're not. You don't have to look deeply. But this is the way that we get out of our sufferings. We fix the problems in our lives by looking deeply at those problems now, by looking deeply at our experience now. I don't have a driver's license. I mean, I haven't had a place to live. I haven't had residency anywhere in the world for, more than 7 years. So it's been a long road to get to this point of independence and individuation and just being where I am right now. Took a lot of work, seemingly. My friends, I think not just friends, but my family is the world. My family is in the here and in the now. The people who are here are my family members in a very real way. Please consider to support. Have we been considering that in our own lives? Have we been considering that in our lives to support, to give, to donate, to volunteer, to help, to share, to serve, to give without expectation? I always tell people here, look, I'm not a Buddha, I'm not completely enlightened being, so if somebody slaps me in my face and punches me in the gut, that's probably not going to feel very good. I like good cappuccino, I don't like bad cappuccino. If someone makes a donation, if someone gives a gift, of course, that feels nice. But this isn't actually done to get anything. This isn't done to give anything in particular. This is just a way of the giving itself. Once again, Wild Donkey, we have to stop ourselves. Think about how much bullshit people make up in the world. Think of how much bullshit we make up in ourselves. So you're here and you're saying you're brainwashed to put this much effort into this. But what the heck is this? Now I'm saying, that this is actually nothing. But that's not your answer. That's not your experience, right? So if you want to be involved in something, instead of just taking whatever you can and then making something up, you give to that. You give your attention, you look deeply, you take it seriously to know about it, and then you can speak on it. We have a lot of comments coming through, so sometimes I miss comments. You know what I mean? Well, tell us about it. Tell us what this is, Wild Donkey, and I'll share some of my experience. For me, my daily sustenance, what I eat every day, I'm able to take care of that. according to merits. Now we can say that life is suffering, but that doesn't need us to be nihilistic about it. You see what I'm saying? We can say that we could die at any moment. That doesn't mean we need to crawl up into a corner and be upset, because that's already true. So we can say life is suffering, and then we can begin to make use of life to transform suffering to enlightenment. If you can't recognize something, how can you be free from it? If you don't see what's in your face, how can you move that out of your face? So when we have these traumas, when we have these thoughts or memories or difficulties that follow us around, in some way it's a really powerful gift, because we see that there's something covering up our face. And there's a breadcrumb trail to move that image, that trauma, that blockage, that appearance out of the face, so that we can really see clearly. But for anything in life, you have to be wholehearted, you have to be embodied, you have to be, really there for it. And that's not like, so you have to come and pass this test, but that's the joy of life. Like, I'm going to be flying to Malaysia shortly. And so I can't call in the flight. I can't send a messenger, to put my name on the seat in the flight. I have to really show up there for that. There are a lot of generous people in the world. I wish I was rich, but I'm not rich. Or I should say, I guess it would be nice to be rich. I'm not going around wishing to be rich, but I'm sure it would be good, would be fine for a little bit. We have ideas, we have beliefs. We have to start admitting that. We have to start admitting that. We have ideas and we have beliefs. That's the first thing, to admit the reality of ideas and beliefs. Because we know automatically that a belief, that an idea, is not reality itself. It's not an experience itself. Generosity. The answer is generosity. If you work, you should make donations. You should practice generosity. You should make offerings. It's not enough to just work for money. Everybody's doing that. You have to have an active relationship with generosity in your life. Not to get something back from what you put in, but to give away. There's no excuse. Generosity isn't just about money, it's about giving. It's about deep giving, deep listening. Being in poverty is okay. That's your karma. That's the situation that you're in. I'm not here to sell you on a get-rich-quick scheme, some kind of scam, some kind of coaching method for you to make a bunch of money quick so that you can, live in an apartment somewhere or whatever. This isn't about that. You have to first accept where you are before you can begin working with where you are, because otherwise you're trying to get away from where your power is, which is ridiculous. You have to stop seeking for something that's out there and start recognizing what is here. It's okay to be in hell. That's also your karma. Stability is not in having everything that we want. Stability is in mindfulness and detachment. You're so worked up in the complicated thoughts about yourself and the world that you're not listening to what's being said. It seems that way, it seems that way, it seems that way. For example, if you were here following me around, you would probably not want to do that. You would probably prefer to be in poverty in an apartment or wherever you happen to be, um, doing what you're doing. Because it takes a lot of detachment to give up the time-based story of ourselves in the world. So start to be grateful for what you do have rather than complaining about what you have or what you don't have or what you think others have or what you think others don't have, etc. You have to detach from your work. You have to detach from your story. You have to detach from only doing for yourself. Detach from thinking about your life and start to experience your life. Be grateful for your suffering. Be grateful for your negativity. Be grateful for your difficulty. It's something to look at yourself. We want attention. We want reaction. We are attention seekers. We want to get a reaction out of people. We're looking for attention. The story is just fake. It's actually that desiring, that clinging, that chasing. The story is kind of like a coping mechanism that we make up to justify how we are doing the same thing over and over again. Not even the same thing, to justify whatever is happening, to justify our continuous attachment. So don't justify attachment. Don't justify holding on. Let go. People complain about their jobs. People complain about where they live. People complain about how much money they have, or they compare their lives to other people. Well, what if I told you, what if I told you nothing? What are you going to do with nothing? We won't have a very long live stream today because I will go to the airport to catch my flight. Dutchy Smith, your attachment to money is ruining your life. You would have just as much of a problem if you had all the money in the world that you have with the amount of money that you already have. The problem isn't the money, the problem is the attachment. I'm not coming back to the USA today, I'm going to Malaysia. There's some energy there, but there's not really anything to be excited about because I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, write to your congressman, Dutchy. I'm not planning on what's going to happen. I use the mantra. I keep using the mantra. Arrived, arrived, at home, in the here and in the now. Arrived, arrived, at home, in the here and in the now. Stress appears to happen, but I don't get stressed out because, like, Dutchy, you're not real, you're fake. You are, basically, it's not that different from being schizophrenic. This idea that we are a self, this idea that you, Dutchy, that Giga, or that Wild Donkey, this idea that you are a real character in a real story is basically schizophrenia. It appears in all kinds of different ways. Sometimes we think we're a part of a government psyop or an Illuminati sex ring, or we're being gang stalked, or the government's out to get us, or all kinds of different ideas that we have. But basically, the notion of a separate self is schizophrenic, is insanity. It's like seeing a movie and not understanding that it's just a movie. The idea that you have about yourself, the idea that you have about your life is just an idea. It doesn't matter what you put into it. I'm a businessman, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a monk, um, I'm wealthy, I'm poor, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's basically schizophrenic. It's basically being in a state of psychosis. So we turn off the movie. We turn off the TV show. And you see there's blockages in the ears, and this relates to blessings. You have to have blessings to be able to receive this message. You have to have blessings to be able to make use of this message, to digest it, to even get some of the nutrients from it. So even though it's said in plain English, face to face, the person doesn't hear it because the person isn't actually there. So through the realization that the person isn't actually there, we are able to hear clearly what's being said. And then we can talk about, or we can explore, we can go deeply into what's being said. So it's okay to be schizophrenic. It's okay to be psychotic. Dutchy Smith is a schizophrenic, psychotic lunatic. And you're welcome here, Dutchy. But a schizophrenic, psychotic lunatic has no place talking about their bills or their job or the government or the politics, because they're completely insane. So the moment that you recognize that you're completely insane, you can say, wait a minute, I'm in no place, I'm in no position to begin thinking about my life or my job. I just have to accept that I'm insane, and I have to start looking at my mind. I have to start working on my mind. And so the children and the young people, as they come up, they're easy to be carefree. They're easy to be wise. They're easy to be natural and not caught up in complicated thinking. And so they don't suffer so much. They have a lot of peace, a lot of happiness, a lot of joy. But as we grow older, we get these accumulations of confusions, layer on layer on layer on layer of confusion. And then we find ourselves to be this out of touch, ignorant, attached, schizophrenic, psychotic adult. And the only answers that are given to us by the society is go and make money so that you can have a cave and fill that cave up with all kinds of things. Repeat after me. I am a psychotic, schizophrenic lunatic. 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 Then you can say with me, no I, no problem. Relax. No I, no problem. And what are we supposed to do with these people? Are we supposed to conduct spiritual warfare? Are we supposed to attack them? Are we supposed to put them in cages? Are we supposed to imprison them? No. Because they aren't really there. So relax and release the I compulsion, the self compulsion. It doesn't matter what you think up, what idea, what story, what bunch of concepts or thoughts that you think up. They are irrelevant in the face of this. And this is only relevant because it's experiential. And it's only experiential in terms of its impermanence. Believing in thoughts, believing in stories, believing in complicated ideas about reality is empty of truth. It's just another thought. It's just another idea. It's just another movie script. It's just another story script. And this reality, this life, is storyless, thoughtless, wordless. All aspects of life that make life livable, that make life meaningful, that make life beautiful are storyless, are thoughtless, are empty of words and phrases. Don't shoot the messenger. That's just the way that it is. That's just the way that it is. And the path is us learning to deal with that. Well, Gija Have you cleaned your room today? Go and clean your room. I don't feel dread. No, you are. You are psychotic. I determine what my sounds mean. You can determine what your sounds mean. And by being open to consider and listen to each other's determinations, we can communicate through sound. Why not? This isn't nihilism. You say nothing really matters. So shit yourself, piss yourself, try it. Don't take an intellectual cop out. None of this is about intellectual bullshit that we come up with, thinking about things, having deep thoughts. No, 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 no. Nothing matters. Shit yourself, piss yourself. See if it matters or not. This is not right or wrong. Right and wrong are just thoughts. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Focus on yourself. Focus on what you're experiencing. You're not a teacher. You're not in charge. You're not here to make determinations or try to figure out other people's problems. Look at your own affliction. Look at your own suffering. Look at your own mind. That's the work to be done here. No excuses, no opinions, no responses. Look at your own mind. Just keep doing your best, Genevieve. That's the greatest meal that you could offer to me. Yes, HTS, precisely. Look in the mirror and see the lunatic that is you. The real lunatic is the one who doesn't dare to look in the mirror. They're always judging what other people are doing. They're always making up stories about who other people are. They're always describing the mind of others, but they're unwilling to look at their own mind. Well, it's interesting, and that's the limitless, the openness, the limitless and the openness of the space. That's not what we're talking about here, Joe. Oy, nasty. Light, flexible, gentle. Oh, what I like to do, I like to always be ready to take the backward step. And I can feel when someone actually wants to connect, when someone actually wants to ask a question, when someone actually wants to share something deeply, or when someone just wants to perpetuate their own thinking. You are alone, and your thoughts are meaningless. You are alone, and your thoughts are meaningless. Deal with it. So when someone does kind of come forward, and honestly, we do not have a very healthy relationship in the modern day with generosity. That's why we can't communicate deeply with one another. We communicate based on our desire to get something out of that situation or experience, or to reify something that we already are holding on to, and we just want to see that perpetuated, that view that we already have. So work on that. Work on your generosity. Work on your willingness to face that suffering, to face that resistance when you feel suffering inside. To sacrifice, to detach, to forgive, to release in the face of grasping. It doesn't mean anything if you have some water here and you throw water in on the tree and you say, there you go, you dirty old brown tree. No, you give away what is valuable to you. When you're suffering and you're feeling all that resistance, to give away that resistance is a great action of generosity. The reason that I like doing a live stream, I like the live aspect of it, and I want people to be able to hear clearly and see clearly, is because I want people to feel that that doorway is open for direct connection, for intimacy, to give, to listen, to share. Easier said than done, but the intention is there to build a real connection based on communication. And then we can see how far we can go. To detach from them. And you can do all kinds of different things with and in detachment. The great lesson, one of the great lessons my teacher, Sayadaw Tamatara, taught me. It is not so much important if you do that or you don't do that. Something in particular, the good thing or the bad thing. But what is really, really important is that you do that without attachment, or you do it with attachment. So it's the attaching element, it's the grasping element, it's the resistance or holding on element that is the problem, or the thing to really look at. Are we doing with attachment, or are we doing with detachment? You can do anything. You can do everything. There's all kinds of ways to do good deeds. There's all kinds of ways to try to help, right? But are we doing that with attachment, or are we doing that with detachment? That's the question. To attach or to detach, that's the question. But actually, it's not a question. Attachment is suffering. Detachment is freedom. It's like breathing in pollution or breathing in fresh air. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. A friend of mine watching on Facebook who was one of the first spiritual friends I made in the Hare Krishna tradition. Oh, that would be really sweet. That'd be really nice, Joe Bide. Yeah. Because when people make a donation or make an offering like that, uh, I feel that people in some ways are receiving and getting benefit from the message, and then not just leaving it at that, but want to build up a connection or build up a relationship through that receiving. That's not based in me or you, and that really inspires me to to know that people are concerned and involved and want to participate, hopefully for the long term. You can ask a question, but that beating that you get is really, really good. That beating that you get is helping you, is developing you. Okay? If we get a beating, it means we're doing the right thing. Some people, they're getting beaten over the head, but they don't notice it because they're so disassociated, they're so disconnected with what's happening, with what's in front of them. They're getting clobbered on the head. So one of the things I have to kind of try to figure out is how to hit people so hard that are disassociated that they wake up and say, "Holy crap, I got to get out of here." You know what I mean? So that's why sometimes it can be very intense expression, because I've got to figure out a way to hit those people hard enough to say, I've got to get out of here. I'll be flying. I can fly, and I will be flying later today to another country. If Jesus was here right now, hope my grandma's not listening, I'd kill him. Maybe that's a title for my next live streaming. I'm gonna kill Jesus. Well, what it means is to not be attached to ideas about Jesus. Jesus is not your ideas about Jesus. God is not your ideas about God. We have to remember that. we have to take that like very seriously. Enlightenment is not our ideas about enlightenment. Peace is not our ideas about peace. Freedom is not our ideas about freedom. One of the ways that we're approaching the modern problems, I was listening to Sadhguru. He was on some podcast or something recently, for the California elite. And he said, now California is really trying to figure out, climate change and the health of the environment and all that, right? Well, if all of those Californians, if all of the politicians, if everybody on Earth were earthworms, we wouldn't be suffering so much and there wouldn't be any environmental problems. So this is also a big part of my teachings, is we've actually got to turn this whole situation on its head. Because the way that we think we're going to work this out and develop through this and get to the promised land is not the way that we're going to get to the promised land. I'm not a very greedy person. My disposition is more in like delusion. Usually people who have the disposition for greediness, which is like the modern Western world, most of those people have that disposition. It's very, very difficult to contact the Dhamma, to become a monk or to step forward as much as I have. So that means I don't have so much high aspirations or high thinking for what's going to come out of this, but we don't need all of that to sit and have a cappuccino and go to Malaysia and have a drink of water. So that's enough. There's a, I don't know, I like to have the microphone very close to my face. But there's an apparent culture, there's a surface level culture, and then there's a real culture. And the real culture is not based in thoughts. Just like there's an apparent humanity and then there's a real humanity. And real humanity is not based in thoughts. Kind of like how our body and our mind do not rely on thinking to be a way of operating. It's kind of a false flag. Thoughts are kind of like a constant false flag event. Yeah, Cherry. Yes, Cherry, do you have a question? It's a TikTok. Yeah, someone, I think it was Sophia. Sophia gifted 5 memberships. So that's a nice thing. Nice thing to do. We're very we're very easy to overstate our position. Our to overstate our position of being in relationship with ourselves and with the world. And this leads to a very easily confused way of interacting with one another. So don't overstate your position. You know, it's like when people come into a random live stream and start trying to convert other people to Christianity. It's just completely ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. So, our position is based on our willingness to give, our willingness to give up, our willingness to give away, our willingness to give in, to truly, truly, truly give. Then we're involved, we're engaged. It's an experiential situation, we're invested. That's why I don't mind people being here who don't really understand what's going on or who don't have anything to do with spirituality. If they have a chance to be here and listen and connect, then they can see what this is about according to their blessings and their capacities. Well, I'm not Isho Speed or Sam Pepper, but certainly can see what happens. Because China has a very deep Buddhist background, and I've never gotten much of a chance to experience that, but a lot of the teachers that I resonate with are like Chinese monks from hundreds of years ago, even thousands of years ago. Because we can. It doesn't matter if we're just used to watching TikTok videos, we're used to watching YouTube videos, we're used to trolling, or we're just used to being, complacent, consuming, unconscious beings. If we have a chance to come across something like this, who knows? Who knows of what kind of benefit it can be? Kind of like for children, just small moments with children can set the direction for the rest of their lives in either a very positive or a very negative way. So I consider that in my sharing and in my live streaming. It comes back to intention. I don't have any intention for anyone here to be in harm's way or to do anything negative or to harm anyone else. So my embodiment is based on my intention, not on the apparent content of that embodiment. So really, to be here wholeheartedly, to be here with the whole mind, the whole body, that's a powerful situation. That's a powerful experience, whether we like it or not, whether we recognize that or not. Most people are just, they can't hear anything other than music or entertainment. They can't listen to messages that they're not used to, and that's okay. Steve is just as ignorant as me or you, Cass. We're all ignorant. We're all in this boat of ignorance and stupidity together. So we're open to expand our minds, to learn new things outside of what we already know. So it's kind of an unprogramming, a deprogramming through direct experience. Don't put yourself into a box. Don't put anybody else into a box. The biggest box is already, we're all inside. Big fat stupid idiots. Or big fat undernourished idiots. If you're not okay with being an idiot, you're not gonna like what I have to say ultimately. And that is the box of ignorance and attachment. That is the box of desire and fear. That is the box of nonstop complicated thinking. Everything, everything. Don't fixate. Don't get stuck. Widen out. Brighten out. Together with everything. Don't try to control. Don't try to manage. It's impossible. Whatever difficulties we get stuck in are unsticking, moments by moments, breaths by breaths. And to be really curious, to be really interested, to take a second look. No, what's going on here now? Doesn't mean you have to stay, doesn't mean you have to be a devotee or a student or a believer or whatever, but it's curious. Oh, I'll go and take a look, not just constant consuming. Meat suits, blood bags. One of my original teachers, he said blood bags. They're all just a bunch of blood bags. So there is the highest reverence is a kind of irreverence. It's not the way we usually think about it. The highest truth is like a lie. Yeah, easy to understand. Easy to say, easy to understand. Sue, can I get one more cappuccino? Yeah. Not sure what kind of cappuccino situation we're going to have in Malaysia, so Better to double down while we still have a chance. Alexander, that's great. That's a great sign. Great point. Very good teaching. So receive it, digest it, eat it. If you're unwilling to make a friend of Satan, it's going to be a very, very lonely life. Satan is a good friend of mine. He's not such a bad guy, just a little bit misguided. He didn't look deeply enough, but he's a good guy. Not even a guy, actually. Hello? No. Anything that is adding complication, put it down. Anything that is facilitating simplification, pick it up. The complication that we think relates to special things is just simple ignorance. Thank you. I mean, we do things. We are interested in different things. You know, I watched some Dragon Ball Z recently. Dragon Ball Z is pretty good. But we don't want to put that on a pedestal. Oh, there's some secret teaching in Dragon Ball Z, or there's some secret teaching in neuroscience. The secretest teaching is right in front of your face at all times. Yeah, you can't just put down negative thoughts and emotions. You have to look at them. You have to meditate upon them. You have to examine them. Reality is like a mirror, but it's facing outwards. Your life reality facing outwards. When you experience those negative emotions and you know that they are negative emotions, grab a hold of the reality mirror and turn it around. And look at yourself, look at your afflictions. Breathe and face and be with those afflictions. Look closely at them. Stop resisting them. Stop trying to avoid them. Stop focusing on what other people are doing. It doesn't matter if what other people are doing. If you can be here and you can look at me and say, that's my teacher, that's my Buddhist guy teacher, let it be that way. Leave it at that. Try it. Monkey see, monkey do. Don't add anything else to it. For men, I can't speak for women, but for men, if you're going to take this stuff seriously, you want to practice some degree of semen retention. You can't just be masturbating every day. Take that seriously. You don't need to say anything positive. Just listen. You don't need to never masturbate, but if you want to take this a little bit more seriously and do a little bit more of this work, okay, then you can't be masturbating every day. No way. Not even to get into what you're masturbating to, because that's also something to be considerate of. But if you're doing that every day, you're going to be in a not in a good position to be deeply aware. Nothing in life is free, John. Didn't your grandpa teach you there's no such thing as a free meal? Shut up and listen. Cut off the commentary. Begin to look deeply, look closely, listen deeply. Have some respect. Have some reverence. Have some honesty about how little you know about what this is and what's happening here. Oh, you don't need to go to Vietnam. You need to meditate more. How to afford that? Go out and volunteer. Like I said, if you are going to be approaching spirituality more seriously, you should not be masturbating every day. It applies by studying Buddhism in a way that's not seeking and striving to grasp and to hold on to. Buddhist study is about detachment, is about mindfulness and detachment. That's what Buddhist study is about. That's not getting high on dope to detach, that's just getting high. That's disassociation, you're avoiding. Detachment is not about avoiding anything, but embracing everything as it is right now, embracing everything as it already is. If Wonder Bucket, if you're able to be a Buddhist, then I don't see why a barnacle couldn't be a Buddhist. You have about the same capacities as a barnacle. No problem, wild donkey. Waste is valuable. The shit is where the lotus blooms from. The suffering is where the enlightenment is. No suffering, no enlightenment. Just like you, Wonder Bucket. Looks like I was more accurate than I knew that I was. So you have to get through the you. Then you can be like a barnacle, attaching freely, detaching freely, born freely, dying freely. So help, Mimi. If you think someone needs help, make a donation. Help them out. Don't think about it, just do it. This isn't about believing in anything, wild donkey, which I've said again and again and again. Well, then you can be here and practice this seriously, because this is not a matter of believing. We have a surface level beliefs, like say, oh, I believe in Christianity, I believe in Buddhism, I believe in a carnivore diet, I need to eat meat every day, right? Surface level beliefs. Then there are subtle beliefs, the subtle beliefs of our habit energies, right? Like you believe that you need to do this specific thing every day. You believe that you need to think this specific thing every day. The beliefs that you have about yourself that are very subtle, those are the beliefs that we are releasing and relaxing in this path. Yes, Alexander, yes, 100%. Because having a teacher is based in communication. When we don't have a teacher, we're just communicating with ourselves. We're just communicating with our own understanding. We're just communicating with our own thoughts and ideas and opinions and beliefs. Having a relationship with a teacher is definitely essential. Definitely essential. Well, it's only temporary. If you're deceived by Satan, or you're deceived by desire, or you're deceived by fear, it's just temporary. If you don't have a teacher, you're just communicating with your own thoughts. You're just you're just going in your own direction that's about your own understanding. If you want to learn and develop in something, you have to communicate with and be in relationship with people that are much more experienced than you are. And if you are serious about being in relationship with people that are much more experienced than you are, you shouldn't expect that that relationship is going to be casual. There's going to be a formality or a practicality to it that will be unusual for you because you're not as involved in that. But you don't necessarily need to be talking with your teacher. It's just the communication is in you receiving your teacher. Like you feel that you are there with your teacher and you are experiencing what they're sharing. And then if you have the chance to communicate with them, then that's great. Be very careful about what you say in this live stream. Be very, very, very careful. Be forewarned. You may make a grave mistake, and there will be consequences. Look at your intention. Look at your intention from which you engage. What is your intention in saying that? What is your intention in being here? What is your intention in practicing meditation? Doesn't mean you have to think a lot about it, but just to know, in a sense, about your own intention. There is no corner. The whole universe is just home. So what? Doesn't matter so much. Good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon. Yeah. The word is friendship. That's not about thinking. You money bit me, 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 money bit me. Oh, money bit me, 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 money setting the setting the basis for friendship that is not based in interpersonal thinking. Setting the basis for real, meaningful friendship that is not based in or on interpersonal thinking, interpersonal conceptual thoughts. Fatality. May you do whatever you do without thinking about what you do. It'd be too boring if this was just a space for, people who are my students or people who are, just coming here to listen and to learn and to practice. So this is an open space. So anybody can come in and I'll take care of them. And you can also, if you want to share, if you want to do some things, that's also okay. Elon Musk. We are accepting donations, Mr. Musk, if you're listening. People worry a lot about money, or people think a lot about their properties needing to have a lot of money because they have a really, really strong attachment to time. They're thinking years in the future, years in the past. They've got a big plan. I don't have much need for money because I don't have much need for a plan. Moment by moment, breath by breath, second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. This is it. I am arriving. I am remembering. I am returning. I am abiding. You can understand me as much as you can understand your own mind that's not based in complicated thinking. because who I am, my being, my nature, my presence is not based in complicated thinking. Learn to use the mantra of I don't know. I don't know where I am. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what this is. Just practice using the mantra of I don't know. Let go of the contraction in the mind that you call knowing. Let go of the stress in the mind that you call understanding. Let go of the attachment in the mind that you call knowing and understanding what's going on right now. So, dear friends, it is time for me to go and get ready to catch my flight to Malaysia. Please do leave a like if you haven't already. Glad that we had this chance to spend time together, to connect, to listen, and to share deeply. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free from all suffering. And may you be free from any kind of complicated thinking that weighs on your head, weighs on your body, weighs on your life. May you be free. May you be free. May you be free. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.